Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here, and this video is brought to you by the online BBALLBREAKDOWN membership. Click the first link in the description below to learn more and join.
Good.
When the Thunder traded Paul George to the Clippers last week, it sent shockwaves throughout the NBA, and it also sent a message that the Thunder were going to tear the whole thing down and start over. The next domino to fall was obviously Russell Westbrook, and after a lot of negotiations, Daryl Morey pulled the trigger. Clearly, the issues between CP3 and Harden were very real, and the Rockets felt the need to move on, and in the same move, reunite these long-lost teammates. But there are serious questions here. Did the Rockets get better? Can Russ and Harden play together? Could this be a colossal mistake destined to crash and burn? Or does Houston have a pairing that can finally put them over the top? Despite Westbrook's impressive box score numbers, he never ranked higher than the 48th percentile in overall offense over the past 4 seasons, meaning he was never above average in efficiency and simply made up for it in sheer volume. Since 2009, 13 times has a player averaged more than 20 shots a game and shot under 45%, and Russ is on this list 4 times, turning in some of the worst shooting performances from a high-volume shooter of all time. In OKC, many of Westbrook's defenders would point to the lack of spacing as a reason why Russ was so woefully inefficient for so many years. It wasn't hard to find plenty of examples of the defense ignoring perimeter players to load up on Russ, forcing him to kick out for open shots that simply clanked hard off the rim. Here, you can see Portland has 4 players in the paint while denying the only perimeter threat in Paul George. Another kick out from Russ, another bricked shot. Here's a pick and roll out of horns they run for him, and the defense is only concerned with Jeremy Grant, whom they switch on and can sink back and wall off the paint to entice Russ into another miss from mid-range. But it wasn't always his teammates' lack of gravity that caused his issues. Because he's simply not a threat from outside, Damian Lillard can continually go underneath the ball screen until Russ settles for another mid-range brick. It's well known the Rockets avoid the mid-range like the plague, and not only did Russ average more 16 to 24-foot shots per game than the entire Houston team, he shot 35.3% on them, good for 26th out of 30 guards who took at least 2 of them per game. And I just don't feel that most of the mid-range misses were due to poor spacing as much as poor mechanics and rhythm, something that I don't think is going to change once he gets to Houston. While the Harden-CP3 pairing ultimately didn't work, no one can deny that their first year together turned the Rockets into a juggernaut, winning 65 games and just about knocking off the Warriors. A big reason why Paul works in the 3-centric Rockets offense under D'Antoni is because Paul can do the one thing Russ can't: shoot the rock. He's good enough from behind the arc to have gravity and keep the floor spaced for Harden. And even though he reduced his mid-range shot attempts considerably, he was a scalding 57% from 16 to 24 feet. I don't think James Harden is going to change his game much with Russ on the floor. Just as we saw him uninvolved in many of Chris Paul's possessions, don't expect him to move much without the ball. Just stay as wide on the weak side as possible, conserving energy while CP3 did his thing. But it worked well for the team, as he has tremendous gravity and would pull his defender out of the way of the action as CP3 made good decision after good decision to find open shooters. My question is, can Russ consistently do this? And while he did improve his finishing at the rim considerably this year, when it came down to the playoffs, he was putrid, falling into the same habits that have plagued his career, and despite some incredible highlights, have traditionally left him towards the bottom of the rankings on shots in the paint. While the Rockets are known for their isolation game from James Harden, they also ran Mike D'Antoni's 21 series, also known as Pistol. This was a source of frustration for Chris Paul, who wanted to run it more rather than stand around and wait for James Harden to fire it to him with little time on the shot clock and no way for him to do what he's best at: controlling a possession and creating a great shot for either him or a teammate. Here is one version where CP3 gets the handoff towards the middle right into a ball screen from Capella. Notice that while Harden is just standing on the weak side, his gravity pulls Rubio out of the play as well. Ball turns the corner and can fade away up and over Gobert. There is no way I could picture Russ hitting a shot like this, you know? Here's another version where he gets the kick ahead to the wing, fakes the handoff to Rivers before getting into the lane off another inside ball screen. Watch how he expertly keeps Mitchell on his back and in jail before kicking it out with an accurate pass for a Rivers wide open three. The basic pistol is setting a pin down and then doing a dribble handoff. And you can see how easy it is for CP3 to do his magic with this kind of action, allowing him to get into the middle of the floor. But I want you to try and picture Russ running this and hitting shots like Paul did. The one shot Russ doesn't have is a floater. And as we mentioned before, struggles from the mid-range too on shots that Chris Paul buries no matter how good the big man's contest is. I really can't figure out if this is going to work or not. It's all about whether Russ is willing to change his game enough to blend in seamlessly, with the same kind of fit that you and SeatGeek can have when you're looking for the best seats to any sporting event, concert, or the theater. SeatGeek scours the internet for the best prices, gives them a grade to let you know what kind of deal you're getting, and they fully guarantee each ticket. Let me hook you up on your first purchase. Save $20 by using my code BBALL, and don't forget, when you think tickets, think SeatGeek. I was able to dig up a few clips of Russ running pistol action. It wasn't easy because Russ almost never plays off the ball, but check how he comes off a pin down, gets the dribble handoff, then a ball screen from Adams. This collapses the defense, and Russ does a beautiful job kicking to the corner. This gives me hope. Here's another version of pistol as they hand off and set a step-up screen on the left wing. Watch how the defense ignores Ferguson to get in Russ's way. The question will be, can he recognize this in Houston and make the right pass to a shooter instead of a dirt leg fall-away miss shot like he does here? If Russ can embrace being off-ball more, Houston no doubt will be able to get him into actions like this weave across the top into a ball screen for him. Notice how this becomes Spain pick and roll when Paul George back screens Adams' man. The Red Sea parts and gets him an easy layup. But that same action in another game allows the defense to just go way underneath a screen, and this lured him into shooting the wide open three ball, something teams this year will be more than happy to give up every time, and for good reason. Russ's catch and shoot game has at times in his career been good, but at other times has been bloody awful. And I'm sure the Rockets have confidence that it will improve alongside the brilliance of James Harden. One thing's for sure, defenses will give him all sorts of room to shoot this the first few months of the season, daring him to prove that he's figured out how to hit open shots. Otherwise, Houston will have a problem. And Mike D'Antoni will have to figure out if he can afford to play Westbrook if he can't make an outside shot and struggles to finish on pick and rolls at the same time. Isolation will be another big category for Russ, as the Rockets' offense allows for plenty of it. But the majority of isolation shots Russ takes are long twos, and I just don't know how the front office and coaching staff will be able to stomach a high-volume, low-efficiency mid-range shooter playing heavy minutes. Carmelo Anthony tried it, and they basically cut him after only 10 games. I would like to see them post Russ up a bit. We saw CP3 get some of this, and my favorite action is when they'd set a ball screen for him down there, opening up easy shots that Russ should be able to be consistent on. I always felt that Russ would have been better in OKC as a shooting guard, someone who could attack off of ball movement from the wings and leave initiating the offense to a traditional point guard. They actually had this in OKC for stretches when Harden ran point, a tantalizing group that should have had a chance to stay together. Perhaps this is Russ's chance to fulfill that role and be the best he's ever been in a team concept that drives them to lots of wins. In the Marvel Universe, there was only one timeline where the Avengers overcame Thanos, much like there is only one way that the Rockets can make this whole Westbrook experiment work. Russ has to not only be more willing to get off the ball and attack out of the pistol series, but he's going to need to get more efficient with his shooting all around, particularly from three-point land. It's even more crucial since they're going to need a way to overcome Russ's defensive deficiencies, where he tends to get lost off ball and beaten by his man on cuts, and has also shown a propensity for ignoring the shooter in order to hover around the hoop for rebounds. It's possible this pairing will work, After all, it's a star-driven league, and Russ will have more shooters and space around him than ever before. But I'd honestly be surprised if they were in the championship mix with this group, leaving the Rockets wondering what might have happened had they not messed with such a good thing. Sports fans, Coach Nick again, and thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then I've got a new online basketball membership where I share with you the best of what NBA teams are doing to help you be more successful on the court. Click the first link in the description or the pinned comment below to learn more. And don't forget to like and subscribe and let me know how you feel about today's video. Check your settings to make sure you get notified each time we drop a new one. After all, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in?